Hello, everyone. These very tense aspects of the past couple of days and weeks is continuing because on the 21st of October, there's an exact Sun-Pluto square, cardinal square. And a number of other celestial objects are around 27, 28 degrees. So we are going to look at a fascinating planetary picture, which is like a full you will see. I will show you in a minute. But if you look around, I'm going to record this a couple of days before, because on the 23rd in Hungary there's a bank holiday, and I'm going to go away for a couple of days with my granddaughters. So I won't be able to record anything, and so I don't know yet what is happening in the world. But we are past the hospital bombing in Gaza, and I am not going to take sides. I'm not going to say who won or who is right. What I'm saying is that killing civilians, killing children, killing pregnant women, torturing people, and raping people is out of the question, no matter what. And I don't care who started it. I don't care when it started. I don't care. Here, the main problem here is that these Middle Eastern people have this very, very deeply tribal behavior patterns, and an eye for an eye attitude. And interesting, because in Hungarian, here in Hungary, we have a number of beautiful folk tales, and none of them, not one of them, has this message. Instead, what we say is a good deed deserves another. This is always the message that our folk tales are telling. Anyhow, so let's take a look at the London chart. Hold on one second. How do I do this? They arranged Zoom, and I have a problem sometimes to see what's happening here. Anyhow, here's the Sun-Pluto Cardinal square, and I gave the title The Machinations of the Deep State on October the 21st at 15:09 London, 3:09 p.m. London. And what is the deep state, you might ask, if you don't believe or you haven't believed Trump, of course, or if you are hating him, which you have every right to do, because whoever is there and you don't like, go ahead and hate him. He was an interesting figure. I really liked the fact that someone who is who is not from the inner circle, who is not an establishment guy, could win. And he certainly was, from our point of view, very funny, and also he left us alone. So that was his big positivity from Eastern European view, that they left us alone. He didn't tell us what to believe in, how to behave, and that's why I was very happy when he won instead of Hillary Clinton. But of course, you guys, Americans, have every right to vote whoever you want to, and have a president of your liking. So I'm not here to criticize anyone, but the fact remains that there is a deep state. And actually, this deep state has always been behind the curtain. And if we look at Pluto itself, Pluto, of course, is the lord of the underworld. And whenever he comes from the underworld, he's always wearing a helmet that makes him invisible. And that's a beautiful image, a beautiful metaphor for the deep state. And of course, you can say that it's just a conspiracy theory, but here in Hungary, we say that whenever there's a question, do you know what the difference between reality and conspiracy theories are? And I always answer to this: 6 months. And actually, yeah, it used to be 6 months. But if you pay attention, now it's maybe a mere days. And in 2-3 days, you have to realize that, okay, what I thought almost impossible is happening. Of course, mainstream media has a lot to answer for, because, oh, by the way, I was going to tell you that Putin is a really ingenious. He's absolutely ingenious because he did away with COVID. And now Hamas is ingenious because he did away with the Ukrainian war. Have you noticed that there's no mention of the Ukrainian war at all? I mean, not one single newspaper or news agency or a TV station mentions even Zelensky or anyone. He used to be the hero. Now everything is full of the news about the Gaza Strip and things like that. And it is really horrible. I must tell you that what I think is happening is that the powers that be, the deep state, really wants to blow up the whole thing. And if he does, he can generate more money in order to keep himself alive. That's what this Pluto Sun Cardinal Square is about, which is going to be a cardinal ground cross in a minute when we take a look at the other celestial objects. So what are the highlights for London? Well, Pluto is rising, actually, and the Sun Mercury Lilith conjunction is very tight. Of course, the nodes are now separating. Actually, the Sun is and Mercury are separating from the South node, but still backwards, highlighting it kind of, and it doesn't form into a ground cross precisely. I mean, not a ground cross, sorry, T-square, precisely because the orb is too wide for my taste. But you still have the Vesta Astrea conjunction, focus on karma breaking, destiny changing, it's still there. So that is the square itself. And this is what I usually do whenever I see an important placement, or whenever the date is important. Whenever I don't know how to let this go. Anyhow, I'm going to have to move the screen because this. I don't know how to manage Zoom. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It has all kinds of things on my screen which actually block half my screen anyhow. And then I'm playing with it, and then I make all kinds of mistakes. Anyhow, so here's what I did, what I do usually, and what I did this time. Since the Pluto Sun square occurs at 27 degrees and change, I looked at 27, 28 degrees of the signs, and I usually look for centaurs. Sometimes when I see important or relevant asteroids, I also include them, but mainly centaurs, because those are the karma carriers in karmic astrology. And then I make a list, and then I make the drawing, and whenever it happens, I always say, "Wow, look at this complex planetary picture." And if we dissect it, it actually has a cardinal ground cross. It also has a fire-air mystic rectangle and a water-earth mystic rectangle, and a number of other stuff. So you can actually take a look and see what else is there. There's also a fixed ground cross, but I'm not going to manage it because the rest of the placements are going to tell how to interpret it. Now let's take a look at the cardinal ground cross, out of which you have the Sun, Mercury, and Lilith conjunction, which is still tight, but already Mercury is separating and the Sun is applying with Lilith. Of course, this Lilith means revolt against injustice. And we have three additional asteroids there. Persephone, who is the lady of the underworld. Geisha, who is some sort of wise woman, let's put it this way, in a member of the ancient. Okay, I'm not going to say that aloud. And then Cerberus, who is the guard dog of the underworld. So a lot of underworld, undercover energies are here on the Sun. On Pluto, we still have Amicus and Orius. Amicus is the centaur who fights no matter what and doesn't care for the consequences. And Orius means mitigated punishment just because who you are. This is exactly what you see. And Pluto, of course, denotes plutocracy, or this deep state energy. And in Cancer, we have Eheclus and Sphinx. Eheclus is an interesting centaur. It's actually a true centaur. So in the inner, it orbits in the inner Kuiper belt, and it has it works with dilemmas of truth and reality. And truth is something that is inside you. It's your truth. It comes through when events are being told, or you happen to experience them, then your own subconscious, your own self is screening them. So it comes through this screening process and becomes your truth. And that's why objective reality is never actually there. It cannot be described, it cannot be experienced, because there's always the filter of yourself. So those are the dilemmas that Echeclus is describing. And of course, Sphinx is the secret, and this is what's happening in the world. As I say, I am recording this a couple of days before I actually post it, and we just the Gaza hospital that got shelled, that was in the news just a day ago, which is terrible. It's terrible in every aspect. And again, I don't want to take sides, and I'm horrified when people are really applauding rape and beheading and all sorts of carnage. I can't do anything with it. And then the fourth corner of this Grand Cross, Cardinal Grand Cross in Aries, is Panacea. And Panacea is one of the daughters of Asclepius, and she describes universal remedy. So that's the only hope in this Grand Cross energy. And there's a fire air mystic rectangle with the Libra Sun, Mercury, Lilith conjunction. And then in Aquarius, you have Damocles, which is one of the Damocloids, impending danger, and Cantor, to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, being in hospital and getting shelled, that's exactly being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And mind you, centaurs move very, very slowly. So this has been there for quite a while. It's the sun. The sun's energy, the applying energy of the sun a couple of days earlier, that is igniting this whole pattern here. And again, in Aries, you have Panacea, and in Leo, you have Hecate, the underworld goddess. So you can see that there's a lot of underworld energy, a lot of hidden energy here, a lot of hellish energy, so to speak. And then the fire earth mystic rectangle, which is a passive mystic rectangle. The fire air is active, the water earth is passive, because it's in passive feminine signs. Water earth is starting with Pluto in Capricorn, of course. In Taurus, you have two centaurs. Actually, one is a centaur, was a TNO, but as I said, it's the same generalization that we use in karmic astrology than what you say in regular astrology when you say personal planets, and you include the sun and the moon, which are luminaries, of course. But still, we say personal planets. Here we say, we use the term centaur, but of course, Alicanto is an ETNO. It has a very, very long orbit, and it's a nocturnal bird that eats precious metal and has beautiful feathers of gold and silver and whatnot. And it represents the greed for these precious metals, and whenever it eats too much, it's unable to fly. So in karmic astrology, it describes the behavior pattern when you want something, you crave for something, and even though you have it and there's no way you can ever utilize it, you still want to amass. This is exactly what plutocracy does, by the way, and a lot of other people. So you are amassing things which prevent you then to do what your original destiny would be, what your original task would be as a human being. And then Pelion, which is the mountain where the caves of the centaurs are, it represents the mountain of life that you need to climb. So the two of them, which have been traveling together for quite a while and will be together for some time, represent the fact that if you don't stick to your home, to your main tasks, to what you want to do and experience, you won't be able to, because your greed will just destroy the potential. And this is what's happening in the world. And in Cancer, you have Eclipse and Sphinx. We spoke about this. And in Scorpio, you have Sato, which again is a centaur. I just forgot to put it in blue. Anyhow, Sato describes toxic emotions. And that's exactly what you see in the world. Toxic emotions are flying around and causing a lot of suffering and a lot of pain. Okay, so that's those are the transcendental objects. And I had a hunch to look at what is it for Tel Aviv, the capital of Israel. And this is what I found. On the ascendant is dark moon Lilith. And when I saw this, I really got a little bit scared because this time Israel probably doesn't have any other choice than to retaliate with vengeance. And the problem is that this whole an eye for an eye idea is really killing the potential to even make any kind of peace. Although, again, since Trump, we should add, there was some kind of peace forming in the Middle East. And of course, if there were a peace, then those terror organizations like Hamas would not have a job. They would be out of job. So of course they wanted to blow up the whole thing. Of course they wanted to stall this whole thing. And of course Israel has the right to exist, and of course she will, I don't know what pronoun to use for a country. It used to be she. So I don't know what she will do, but the fact that dark moon Lilith is rising at the exact moment of the Pluto Sun cardinal square indicates that they will do whatever it needs, and they won't care what the rest of the world says, and they won't care even if we curse them for that. And on the IC is the Vesta Astrea conjunction. So focus on your homeland, on your own home, and try to break old embedded karma. This to me simply describes that they will fight until the last terrorist because they want to defend their home. And of course, there's the 3 strong women, which I'm not going to elaborate, but I already did. But what really made me think, and I, as my dear friend Teresa says so many times, you couldn't make this up, that in the Tel Aviv chart, there's a midpoint structure, and only in the Tel Aviv chart, because Chiron is at the midpoint of the ascendant North Node and also the ascendant Aries. And Chiron means karmic wounds, pain and suffering. And of course, the healing potentials as well, but it comes always through pain and suffering. And the ascendant is your pathway yourself, and the North Node is your chosen destiny. So here, suffering and karmic wounds are defined what I'm going to do myself, because it is my destiny. And also what I'm going to do, ascendant, what I am as well, in drastically altered outward circumstances, Aries. So that's it. And I am going to watch the news because it doesn't look good, and it doesn't feel like Israel is not going to do anything. It will. There are powers out there that want de-escalation. This is what they are hoping, because the more suffering, the better, because they can sell more weapons. And I don't really like the state of the world at the moment. We are in the middle of this is the Third World War in any chance. Actually, when you look at, if you have ChatGPT, take a look at what it says when the Third World War is going to break out full blown. I think it's some date in November, last time I checked. And what I'm trying to tell you here is that these are dark and gloomy and difficult times, but there's panacea, which is universal healing. So there could be some healing energy as well. It depends on us. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.